स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं हुई।
हो गई।
हाँ ठीक है, हो गई। मैं स्टार्ट करूं?
हाँ करो।
Okay, so this is the presentation of group number 2, and my topic of presentation is translation and dematerialization of space. So first of all, we need to know what is dematerialization. Dematerialization have its own definition in different uh, fields of study. It have different and many definitions. And if we define it in linguistics, particularly in translation studies, it deals with the concept that when we have something, we do not notice its importance and we do not appreciate it. It doesn't come into our notice. But when something is missing, when we do not have something, so that always clicks our mind and we miss those things. The other point is that good things never come into our notice, but the bad things are always in our notice. So we feel the need of the good things, uh, the things which we do not have, but we do not appreciate the things which we do have. Here in this topic, we will appreciate and we will discuss the importance of translation, as we have the translation, so we do not um, know or we do not notice its importance. But when we are deprived of it, then we will get to know its importance. Here, the eagle wrote that the owl of Minerva spreads its wings only when the falling of the dusk, or with the falling of the dusk. So it means that Minerva is actually the Roman Greek god, and it represents wisdom and philosophy, and all in the Western language is also a symbol of wisdom and intelligence. So here we can say that we get to know about the importance of intelligence or the importance of good wisdom when it's too late, dusk when it's too late, like it at the end of the day. Uh, we do not appreciate or we do not get to know about it when it's the dawn of the wisdom or the dawn of the intelligence or whatever that we have. Uh, the same thing has been discussed by David Brooks, and he also said that human beings tragically came to understand things fully only when it's too late. So they get to know about the importance, they get to know about the need of those things when it is too late. Then we have Bowman. So according to Bowman, things came onto our notice when they are disappeared. So he has also discussed the same topic that uh, mm, we do not take notice of things until and unless they are disappeared. This is the human, लाइक ये एक ह्यूमन की एक क्वालिटी क्वालिटी समझ लो कि क्या डिसक्वालिटी है और वट एवर, बट दिस इज इन ह्यूमन नेचर. सो दिस इज ह्यूमन नेचर कि वो जो है तब तक एक चीज को जो है वो नोटिस नहीं करता, उसकी इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं जानता जब तक वो चीज हमसे डिसअपेयर नहीं हो जाती. एक रूटीन से जो है अगर एक चीज जो है वो हमारे रूटीन में चल रही है, सो वी डू नॉट नोटिस दैट थिंग. लेकिन जब वो रूटीन से जो है वो गायब हो जाती है, जब वो रूटीन से जो है वो चली जाती है, तो फिर तब जो है हमें उसकी इम्पोर्टेंस का पता चलता है कि हाँ ये चीज़ है. फॉर एग्जांपल वी यूज इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इन सिटीज. and we do not notice its importance. लेकिन जब हम गांव में आ जाते हैं और गांव में हमारे पास इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं होती, जब हम शॉर्ट ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी होते हैं, सो वी गेट टू नो अबाउट इट्स इम्पोर्टेंस कि हाँ इसकी कितनी इम्पोर्टेंस है और हमारे सारे काम जो है वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पर ही चलते हैं. Then we have the global economy has gone through many significant changes in recent times, according to David Harvey. In the development economics, the reduction of time and cost movement over space has made the focus on technology innovations, the different means of transportation. So there is, if we look at our global economy, if we look at the uh, technology system that we have in the world, so that is becoming very advanced, and everything is actually going so fast. For example, we have many means of transportation, like railways, jets, airs, aeroplanes, motorways, and we have many things. So this has actually, the economy, the technology has made our lives very much easier. And same, we can take it for translation. Like for example, we are using the technology Google. So in Google we have different types of languages. So what is that? That is actually translation. We can translate one language to another language with the click of our finger. So everything has been advanced, everything has been improved over time, which save our energy, which save our time, but we do not notice the importance of those things. For example, when we are unable to translate something, when we are unable to get something, for example, if we go to another country, another city, so we are unable to that language. For example, someone go to China or to Japan, so they will be unable to communicate with those people, but with the click of our finger we are able to communicate to them, we are able to talk to them, and we are able to convey our message to them. What is this? This is actually the technology, this is actually the development that we are going through. uh, but we do not feel its importance, we do not notice its need, its value, until and unless they are gone somewhere, or they disappear somewhere. Like for example, if we want to convey our message to someone, but we do not have the translation ability, or sorry, the translation technology, so only then we get to know about its importance. So this topic is all about the importance of translation, and how we actually uh, क्या करते हैं, हम नोटिस में नहीं लाते, we actually do not came this thing into our notice, the importance, the development of the of everything that we have. So this is actually the dematerialization of space and translation in translation studies. That's all. Rahat,
Hmm?
my presentation is over, so now the next turn is of Anam Janan, I guess, right?
1 minute. रिकॉर्डिंग चलती रहेगी. रिकॉर्डिंग
हाँ, स्टॉप कर दो तब तक. राहत,
स्टॉप है.
नहीं स्टॉप नहीं है. हाँ ठीक है, अगर स्टॉप नहीं है तो फिर बस अनम तुम अपना कर लो, खैर है ना, स्टॉप ना हो.
तो फिर ये बीच में जो हम बातें कर रहे हैं
उसको स्किप कर दें हैं।
तो खैर बस कोई बातें बस अभी ना करो ना बातें, बस तुम अपना स्टार्ट कर लो।
हम्म,
अनम तुम्हारी स्लाइड्स आ गई, तुम स्टार्ट करो।
हम्म, स्टार्ट करूं?
हाँ।
Okay, so my name is Anam Janan and I am presenting the topic network and networking. So basically, network is maintaining the network. Network is the practice of creating, maintaining, securing the network, and it shares the computer power on electronic networks just in order to increase the memory and the processing capacity of the computer. So by producing a definite result, shift from the shifting of data storage and the processing of network, this this gives a definite result. And networking for translation across the globe is an issue of greater concern. Like we only concern we only concern with the translation in this very topic of networking, and we will talk about all the like all over the globe, and it is used for important cause. So the global competition, it just demand for the globalized economy. Like we will talk about the economy, the market dynamics, and the strategy making, and we will okay, and we will talk about the strategy making, the like a globalized economy, that the global competition is greatly helping for marketing and to design the strategy, so it will approach to the changing of environment with a highly diverse dynamic. So the information coming from a specific time and the space is actually the crucial factor. And for this purpose, information technology allows us to decentralize such information and to get a flexible system for these strategy making. So the cross-border structure allows small, medium, and businesses, like there are enterprises, there are some network enterprises which allow the small businesses to link up with them and make some major corporations, some form some network, and then they innovate and adopt relentlessly. So these the major enterprises or the major entities, these allows the small and the medium and also the medium businesses to link up with them. It may be through the information technologies, it may be through some software developments, and we will talk about in the software development that in this world of the enterprises, the bureaucracies, the corporations, the software development, the all the industries and the networking industries, they all need some flexibility for the manipulation of computers, for the data storage, for processing the networking process, for interacting the power sharing. So all these are manipulated with each other. So in and the main thing in the information technology, it is not obvious that we only used software, we only use information technologies. We have some other businesses, we have some physical sciences, we have some life sciences, but this way is quite some like this the other things like the life sciences and the physical sciences and the businesses, they have some complex theories. So we may go through the software developments and we use it the information technologies. It gives us the feature of the translations, and there are some characteristics as well of a network in the global age, that we move from particular to the general. like what are the characteristic of network and what we do, and what the translation tell us about, in this very global age. So first we have a network that is, by definition, we say that network is open ended, and therefore we extend it indefinitely. Like in this sense, we can say that new elements can lead to restructured, okay, without collapse. Okay, secondly, we have networks which is inside, which have insides and outsides. How? That we have some openness of the network, which means it is open to all. The context I'm talking about, that for example there are two roles. um, One is the gatekeeper and the switch. So the gatekeeper decide who will admitted to the network, like who will allow, who we will allow to the network, and the switch decide what network we will be connected to the other network. So the role is of course conflated if an individual is also a network. Okay, the thirdly, the characteristic is the logic of the network is greater than the power of its individual nodes. Like the structure, the situation that changes their flexibility and the response, the goals, the values, and the end, they all allow for a level, they want a level of structural coherence in this very network. Okay, then there are some territorial networking. We can say that it wants the, from the very, like if we talk about the early age, there they uses the quality of the text that is translated from the source language to the targeted one, that was very high, but the prices were very cheap, very low. And they usually do this, but one some Chinese, his name is Dutch Mandarin, he just quote a word there in Netherlands and China, that you will see what I mean, like he quoted this thing. But from now, the internet, when the internet is okay, from now the internet has made it possible, like the thing which I discussed in the early age, but the internet has crossed it all, and it make it possible to break the boundaries, to break the borders. Like internet, it is equally fast and cheap at the same time to send the documents for the translation to the most backward areas as well, to the most remote part of the planet as well. Then we have a translation and translator, like they just inform us about the meaningful translation. Like they says that it must address not only what text are to be translated and how they are translated, but also who is doing the translation. Okay, it is not necessary that what we are translating, they said that it must, like it is also necessary that who is translating. And this debate is around the inclusion and exclusion of the technical and the commercial, these translators. And in the present, the potential translation in the world today is contested translation, or absence of translation, or we say of indigenous literatures. From now, uh, from now the political and in the economic aspects. Sir, 5 minutes. The discussion of the translation and the globalization, they must take us into the account of the political and economic realities, that it discriminate us of the term often uses to disguise, like we cannot disguise the political and the economic realities for the sake of translation and globalization. Moreover, we exalted language on the potential of globalization, like we just only focus on the globalization, not on the realities of the political and economic realities. And the translation industry, tend to accept both, like they are supposed to accept both the global reach and the realization both at the same time. We cannot like deny, or we cannot skip the political and economic aspects. And the last one is the telecommunication networking, like just as I said in the very information technologies, there is a telecommunication networking, like information and the translation information, they are circulating. They are circulating, they just increase speed through telecommunication networks by moving, by how, by moving goods, by people, the workers, the service, the providers, or the customers. These are all temporal and spatial constraint of the element. More material networks such as roads, airports, shipping ports, railways, this in turn, this just sustain translation, like they sustain the translation to contact with the companies and to intermediate to the trained staff, like they give just the demo the product in other language to manage complex delivery logistics and to learn the market geography. Like they just use translation as a demo to product, like they show their translation as a demo to other language, so that they make some strategies for them, and they sustain and always they always send their trained staff to them as a demo to product their language in this very to learn the market geography, and to learn the complex delivery of this very translation. Thank you. This is all.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Rahat and I am presenting the topic translator and mediation. How a translator works is a mediation between two languages, two cultures, two parties. Mediation means how he or she works as a bridge between two languages, two cultures, two parties. If the definition of mediation is a process during which an impartial, neutral person, the mediator, facilitates communication between the parties in a dispute to assist reconciliation, settlement, or understanding among them, and then a mediator should be expert in terms of communication. Like if someone is translating between two parties, the translator must be expert in terms of communication, that is oral, written, implied, or body language, to act as a bridge of communication for the disputants. Nevertheless, when the mediator does not speak, read, or write the language of the disputants, does not understand the sensitiveness of the participants in the mediation process, then mediation sometimes becomes useless. It's obvious when someone is not understanding the sensitiveness of the participants in the mediation process, or he can't speak the language of the disputants, like that is written, oral, or implied, or body language. For a translator, he must know these things. If not, then the process of mediation becomes useless tool. The process would not bring any fruitful outcomes, would result in unresolved disputants, and often could leave the new English speaking disputants with an unsatisfactory and bitter experiences. Like we can say that uh, it it's not if a translator can't perform these things, then obviously the fruitful outcomes, it the process will not result in fruitful outcomes, and the disputes will be always unresolved, and it can create uh, a bitter experiences for new English disputants. George Bush and Mikhail Gorbachev were engaged in disarmament talks, and they are locked in disagreement over whose aircraft should verify compliance with the terms of the agreement. Those of the verifying party, that was US position, are those of the verified party, Soviet position. There was a Soviet interpreter, Igor Kochilov, Mr. Gorbachev, and translated Gorbachev as saying that inspection aircraft of verifying purposes should be made available by the verifying party rather than the verified party. So started the Americans at this sudden change in position that they asked him to confirm his statement. He does, but it is verified, not verifying, and it is the correct reflection of Soviet position. In his memoirs, Korchilov describes the acute embarrassment of that moment. He says that everyone now turned their heads to look at me. At that moment, I wished the earth could swallow me up. Someone once said that good interpretation is like air. No one notices it until it is polluted. Nobody notices the interpreter as long as he is doing all right. But the moment he makes a slip, he becomes the focus of attention. Like he describes the embarrassment which he uh, encountered at that time when when he made a slip in this statement, that a good interpretation is like air. No one notices it until it is polluted. The moment interpreter made some mistake, he then becomes the focus of attention. The complexity of translation does not lie only in the process of translating the message, but in the situation in which, in late modernity, translators as mediators can find themselves. For Mikkel says, translators are very firmly to be placed in the company of angels. Translators in the modern world are obviously involved in the traditional angelic tasks of transmission, enunciation, and mediation. For sirs, it is a notable truth the fallen angels are the prophetic hierophants of the media, where it is the messenger, but not the message that is all important. Translators are generally accorded the grace of invisibility, but whether this is necessarily sanctifying is a question that translators and theorists have asked more and more insistently in recent decades. Like Mikkel says that translators are very firmly to be placed in the company of angels. Like in the modern age, the translators are facing difficulty in the age of globalization. Though the impetus of structuralist polysystem and feminist translation theories, more attention has been devoted to the importance of translators' signature, the active presence of the translator in the translation product and process. But translation studies itself has yet to emerge from relative disciplinary obscurity. Though, in view of the spread of its interest and the cogency of its concerns, The discipline of translation would seem to be powerfully equipped to have a substantial impact on intellectual debates centered around globalization. Its impact on the other academic disciplines investigating the topic, with certain notable exception, has been limited. It is in this context that we might begin to ask whether, in the era of globalization and representation of the translator, does not need to be fundamentally reconfigured. Translation theories courses obviously deal with some of larger issues raised by the activity of translation, but the danger is that these courses can be sundered from the economy, politics, and technology of translation, thus leading to perception of theoretical concepts as self-referential and bearing on text to the exclusion of people and their material environments. In addition, the merit of courses and translation of and globalization is that they can reasonably be offered to students in other disciplines who need to be made aware as much as the importance of translation paradigm is globalized context, well-meaning platitudes about the existence of multilingualism and the consequent necessity of translation are unlikely to pass muster in a global order that shows a distinct drift towards Babylonianism by default. Translators, like any other group of professionals in the social and human sciences, are distinguishing among each other not by what they must do, but by what they can do. Thanks.